The season of Advent is about preparing for the coming of Christ. And in Romans, Paul, in writing to the church, has in chapter 13 an appeal basically saying Christ is coming soon, so you need to live honorably. And he writes about that in chapter 13 in the verses 11 to 14. And in the middle of that, in verse 13, he says, "Let us live honorably, as in the day, not in reveling and drunkenness, not in debauchery and licentiousness, not in quarreling and jealousy." One of the things that strikes me about this verse, about living honorably, is Paul identifies several different things, right? He touches on reveling, drunkenness, debauchery, licentiousness, quarreling, and jealousy. Part of what strikes me is that all of these are ways of not living honorably. They're not ways where we honor or give glory to God or to Jesus Christ. It's interesting to me, though, that historically, and even right to this current day, that oftentimes Christians focus on sins that are related to the physical, related to the body. So we might say reveling, drunkenness, debauchery, licentiousness. And it's right and appropriate for us as Christians to both believe that these are not appropriate ways for us to live. But it's interesting how it's easy for us to condemn people who live in that way. And yet we don't often hear as much about condemning those who live with jealousy, who are jealous of other people, or those who are quarreling and quarrelsome. One of the things about maturing as a Christian is we want to mature in a holistic way. So we don't want to just obsessively focus on a couple of types of sin, for example, often sins that we ourselves do not engage in or don't have an issue with, while ignoring other sins that are perhaps more of an issue for us. So for example, for me, drunkenness is not something I struggle with. I don't drink alcohol, so it's never a problem for me. I also don't tend to spend a lot of time out reveling, being out all night, and those sorts of things. But that doesn't mean that I can't be concerned. I don't need to be concerned about any of these things. I could get caught up quarreling, or I could be jealous. So when you read verses like this and a call to live honorably, don't just think about other people who are to you obviously sinning in some very obvious ways, while perhaps ignoring the things in your own life. Search your own heart and spirit, invite God to do so, and ask God to help you to live even more honorably today than you did yesterday.